All right, welcome to the deep dive.
Good to be here.
So today we're diving into this really thought-provoking piece by Kadir Kubashek. It's titled Özgürlük mü, manyetik zorunluluk mu?
Which translates roughly to freedom or magnetic necessity. A pretty big question right off the bat.
It really is. And the article, it kicks off with this incredibly vivid image, doesn't it?
Oh, yeah. Kubitschek describes watching this huge group of birds on an electric wire. And they all take off at the exact same moment, perfectly synchronized.
He calls it a natural dance.
Yeah.
And you can almost feel his sense of wonder. How do they do that?
Exactly. And that wonder, it leads them straight into the, let's say, the standard scientific ideas about flocking.
Right. The usual suspects, like birds watching each other really closely.
Local visual cues.
Yeah.
And also how one bird's movement creates little air currents that the others feel.
Sort of a mechanical interaction. And there's that idea of community behavior too, right? Almost like a collective mind.
Yeah, like a kind of distributed intelligence. Some people even use mathematical models for this, suggesting maybe there's a leader bird or they follow the ones immediately around them.
Okay, so those are the established theories based on observation, physics, models.
Pretty much. But Kubitschek, he seems, well, dissatisfied. He feels like these explanations don't quite capture how instantaneous and effortless it all looks.
He wonders if there's something deeper going on.
Precisely. And that's where he throws this curveball question. What if it isn't about individual birds deciding or following a leader? What if it's necessity?
Necessity, like they have to move together like that, driven by something else.
Yeah, he's pushing us to think beyond just the birds themselves, to look at the environment.
And this is where his crazy theory, as he calls it, comes in.
Right. Electromagnetism. He literally wonders if there's some invisible force, attraction and repulsion, pulling the strings on this aerial ballet.
Okay, wow. That's different from birds just watching each other.
It is. I mean, there isn't really mainstream evidence saying electromagnetism is the main driver for flocking synchronicity, but it taps into that growing field of magnetoreception, how animals sense magnetic fields. So the idea of sensitivity isn't totally out there.
And he takes it further, suggesting some kind of biological process the birds develop themselves.
Sort of, like a natural electromagnetic current flowing through the flock. He imagines them sensing tiny air pressure changes, drag forces.
And these little interactions somehow build up into this big coordinated effect, like a field.
That seems to be the idea he's playing with. Not a literal wire, but a similar kind of connected physical sensing across the whole group.
It's fascinating because then he zooms out even more, doesn't he?
He does. He starts talking about other big environmental forces, Earth's magnetic field, gravity, even electrical changes in the atmosphere. Could these be influencing animal behavior more than we think?
And he connects this to some pretty modern anxieties.
Yeah, he mentions a specific news report, you might have heard about it, linking a mass bird death event. Birds just falling from the sky to 5G technology tests.
Suggesting the high-frequency waves might have messed with their navigation, their magnetic sense.
Exactly. It feeds right back into his core idea. Birds are sensitive to these electromagnetic forces, both natural and potentially human-made.
Okay, so if bird flight, something that looks so free, might actually be dictated by these external factors, what does that imply?
That's the million-dollar question, isn't it? It throws the whole concept of free will in nature into doubt, not just for birds, but, well, for everything alive.
And Kubashek puts these questions right to you, the reader, the listener, like, is free will even real in nature?
Or are creatures, maybe even us, more like pre-programmed robots just reacting?
Is explaining animal behavior just through their senses, sight, hearing, is that missing a huge piece of the puzzle?
Could electromagnetism be underneath all our movements? Even our thoughts. He gets quite philosophical.
He even questions his own act of writing the article. Was that just a necessary outcome of environmental forces at that specific moment? He mentions Spinoza here.
Right, Spinoza's idea that everything is just a result of prior causes. Strict determinism, basically. No room for spontaneous free will.
So Kubitschek seems to lean towards that maybe behavior is mostly determined by these physical, environmental factors. Free will might be, well, maybe an illusion.
Or perhaps something that just aligns with environmental necessity. And then he brings in Carl Jung at the very end.
The collective unconscious idea.
Exactly. He speculates, could birds, maybe all life, be moving within some shared natural consciousness, something that is nature itself?
Wow, that's a big leap.
It is, and he knows it. He ends by asking, "Nedersinis sok musum."
Which means?
What do you say? Did I fly too far? He leaves it open.
A really mind-bending deep dive, then, makes you look at a simple flock of birds completely differently, questioning the forces, seen and unseen, that shape everything around us.